You're listening to Rockers in Recovery Radio. If you'd like to find out more information, go to rockersinrecovery.com or Rockers in Recovery on Facebook. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Hey, this is John Hollis with Rockers in Recovery. Rockers in Recovery Media is dedicated to carrying the message of addiction recovery through music, news, events, and festivals taking place within and not limited to the clean and sober community. We have a great show in store for you this evening. We have a gentleman named Drew Preston. Drew is a great musician and composer and has been a huge supporter of the Rockers in Recovery music events that we put on. He actually was he played at the very first Rockers in Recovery Music Festival. We've done 25 productions over the years, but in 2011, on February the 12th, Drew and Johnny B and the Road Dogs came to the first event and kicked butt. And Drew's been supporting the event ever since. I'm going to bring Drew on so we can talk to him. Drew, welcome to the show. Good evening.
Hey, how are you? How you doing, John?
Great, man. Hey, listen, it's always a pleasure and an honor to have you a part of Rockers in Recovery. You're a great musician, great composer. How did you get started in music, Drew?
Well, at a young age, I guess I was exposed to it, around a campfire, acoustic guitars and hanging around with some older people, actually at sleepaway camp, as a little kid, 10-year-old. And I just loved the whole vibration of it, being, that close to it, that live performance thing really touched something in me.
Did you find that as you started to get older, that you really wanted to get into the band thing and you put together the garage bands and all that stuff, or did you go into that direction, and how'd that work?
Well, yeah, we had similar interests with the friends I was hanging out with, and we would, go in the garage and play till the police showed up, because we were just way too loud and, probably really bad, too. That probably had something to do with it. But, unfortunately, I never really played, in my teens out in clubs or anything like that, just for fun, really. And it wasn't until later on that I decided to try to get serious about the music thing.
What happened for you that shifted you into the recovery mindset?
Well, I mean, part of the music thing was also the drug thing. It was around it, and everywhere you looked, and so for me, some of the guys that I looked up to were doing drugs, and they were great players, and so I kind of got ahead of myself, and the music really at some point took a back seat to the drugs. I always had my guitar, but it seemed that the common denominator was who's got what and that kind of thing, and so it got to a point where I realized that I'm going to die if I don't do something about it.
Did you find that that was an easy transition as far as the music aspect? Because going from let's say the sex, drugs, and rock and roll to making a change in the mindset must have been difficult.
Well, it's like this, when I went to my first meeting, which, by the way, I avoided for about 3 or 4 months. I knew I had to do something about my problem, and I had somebody in my life that was trying to steer me in that direction, and I had ducked him for many, many weeks, and finally I decided to go with him, and I couldn't back out of it. But after going to meetings and taking those suggestions, I realized that I needed to put the guitar down, as much as I didn't want to. But that whole my whole reality, my idea was to be out there playing in the club, and how can I, that's my whole life. How can I put that away, you know, just because I got clean. I mean, can't I do both at the same time? And so I tried, and it was not a good scene for me to play clean for the first time. It was very, very, it was, how should I say? It opened up a can of worms, and I got very, very mad, and I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could stay clean and play. And I made the right decision, said, okay, I'm going to put my guitar in a case, not worry about playing out live anywhere, and let me get a foundation in recovery. Let me get a life so that I can play. And whatever God has in store for me, that's what it'll be. You know, I was told not to leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens. So if it takes a year or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is, you know, I'm in this for the long haul. I want to live. I want to be around and make something out of myself. So, yeah, I put the music thing down. I didn't stop writing. I didn't stop, listening to music, but for me, I had to not worry about a career in music. So I got a little longer time in recovery.
Great message. If you had to say something right now to the newcomer that may be listening, or the person that may be struggling, that's on the fence, what would you say to them?
Just keep going back to those meetings, as many as you can. Just put your time out. I mean, you can always always go back out, but you can't always get back in. And and there's just so many bad drugs going around that are not even good. I mean, not that drugs are good, but you know what I mean? They're like making these artificial drugs that are just killing kids that are trying it for the first time even. But, you just got to put your life on hold. Whatever you think makes you happy, you're wrong. You have no idea. Your best thinking got you in this situation. So you have to trust and believe that other people that have done this already, that have gotten clean, and, if they can do it, then you really need to take these suggestions, because if you go to enough meetings, you'll hear stories and go, oh, my God, these guys were worse than me. I'll take my own problems. How did these guys stay clean? It's a miracle. When you hear the stories and you got something to relate to, just grab onto these people, hold their hands, hug them. I mean, get to as many meetings as you can. That's what you got to do every day. You can't take a day off. Sometimes you got to get on the phone and just hang on the phone with somebody. If you want it bad enough, the help is there.
True. The next question I have for you, which is really, I mean, listen, and I know because you just touched on it. There's like 200, upwards of 200 overdoses a day now across the country. And, I mean, when you think about that as a whole, and the kids that are just here locally, I go to a meeting or I talk with somebody, that I know from recovery. Did you hear about so-and-so? He passed away. I mean, it is happening every day. It's just amazing to me that we have gotten to this point. If you could talk to a parent out there right now that's dealing with, or a loved one that's dealing with an addict, what would you say to them?
Well, don't give up, and, you got to take a look at, how long have you been letting this go on? Have you known about it? If you've known about it, then you've got to continue to, support. I mean, if it's a tough call, because, if your kid is like ripping you off and, not, paying attention to house rules and stuff like that, then they got to go, and you got to wash your hands. But if they really, really want it, then you got to try to, help the situation and just keep talking to them about it. And, find out where they're going and who they're hanging out with. And not just, hey, I'm going out, I'll see you later. Know who they're hanging out with. Maybe talk to their friends' parents and find out what they're into. make sure they're telling you the truth. I mean, it's, you got to give them a little leash, but, you got to really know what they're doing and be involved.
True. Good stuff, man. I want to thank you again. We started out the segment with talking about the Rockers in Recovery Music Festival, and you were like, one of the very first bands that played at the very first Rockers in Recovery Music Festival, and you've come back ever since. You've played at every festival. This year and last year, we dedicated it to Unite to Fight Addiction around the opioid crisis and epidemic that's happening across the country. This year we're having the meet and greet the night before, where it's an open meet and greet and a panel of experts that are going to talk to everybody in regards to the epidemic, and if you have questions you can get them answered. And it's also a time for everybody to kind of meet and get information. But the next day the music takes the front stage, and it's really there for people to be able to get educated, but most importantly, be able to really have some great music behind them, behind the message. And when you look at the music, do you feel that music is a harmony and a piece that can really be used to educate people?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it brings people together, Every band's tour has a message behind it, and we have this one constant message. There's help out there, people that need it and want it, and that's what Rockers in Recovery is all about. It's trying to reach everybody. I mean, it helps parents, deal with their kids or their wives or husbands. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, because music really is the international language. And I think if you, listen to musicians play from the heart, they're telling you something. And I think it's just a healing thing, that it just means that everything's going to be all right. Just listen to music, plays music, be a part of it, and stay clean, one day at a time. What can I say? It's, for me, it's been putting a few days together back to back and just keep going. And life happens, and just keeps going. I'm looking forward to the Rockers in Recovery. That's a wonderful thing. And thanks for having me on, John.
Dude, yeah, I love you, bro. You've been a huge supporter of ours, and we care about you very much. And most importantly, what are you doing? What are some of the projects? We got a couple of minutes left. I just wanted to find out what you're working on or where you're playing next, where people can catch you.
Right. Well, I'm staying in the South Florida area. I'm playing actually Thursday night at this outdoor seafood restaurant.
Cool.
It is a bar. I mean, they do serve alcohol there, but it's a wonderful seafood restaurant. Live music's called The Twisted Fish, and I'll be there Thursday from 7 to 11 with my own project, which is called the Drew Preston Project. And I guest in a lot of different bands. When the phone rings, and somebody needs a guitar player, I'm there, whether it's at a club or at an NA picnic, doesn't matter, If it's good music, I'm there.
You can also find Drew at drewpreston.com, and from there you can find him on his Facebook page, you can find the YouTube, you can see upcoming shows and events. Again, it's drewpreston.com. And Drew is really open, and he's approachable, man. If you want to reach out to him to say hello, I'm sure he'll IM you back with a big hi. I want to thank you again, Drew, for being on the show and being a part of Rockers in Recovery. And I look forward to seeing you in February and catching up with you between now and then at the Rockers in Recovery Christmas party.
No problem. My pleasure, John. Anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
All right, bro. Hey, listen, thanks for calling in, and thanks for being a guest tonight.
You got it. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, guys. That's it. We want to thank you for tuning in. We'll talk soon. Have a great night.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.